Greetings, YouTube. I hope you will indulge me for the use of my fan today. It's 87 degrees in my office and it's rather unpleasant. I'm going to read an opening line from an article I have here. This is from Salon.com. Someday, we may reach the point where there are no more horrific sexual abuses within the Catholic Church to uncover, when there will be nothing left to say about the conspiracy of silence and the long-standing policy of protecting child molesters. Today is not that day. The article goes on to talk about a 6,000-page document that was released recently and dealt with issues on 2 different continents. And some of the information in this is just astounding. About how the Catholic Church protected child molesters from prosecution, how they hid a $57 million fund to keep it from being used as liability in cases of those survivors seeking funds from the church. How there were cases here, 42 out of 45 priests with verified abuse claims. 42 out of 45 absolute verified cases here. That's astounding. And they had this one individual who was moved 11 times in 22 years to keep him from being prosecuted, so that it wouldn't come out. And then they have a situation here where of 22 priests that were reassigned to parish work after allegations, 8 of them re-abused. And a number of these priests were laicized, as in they were bumped out of priestly duties, but still left within the church, and some of them continued to draw benefits from the church, even though that they were accused sex abusers. They were child molesters. I've spoken about this topic before, and unfortunately I'm going to have to talk about it again in the future. There is no way around this. The Catholic Church continues to be more concerned with its own public image than the safety of children. That is abhorrent. It's just incredible. They are more concerned with the public image of the Catholic Church than the lives and safety of children. They have aided and abetted rapists in an effort to maintain the public image of the Catholic Church. And explain to me how we would accept that if that were any secular organization. Would we tolerate that? No, of course we wouldn't tolerate that. It would be absurd to even think that we would tolerate it. And yet, for some reason, because it's the Catholic Church, because it's a religious organization, it's like, oh, hands off. Oh, we gotta let them handle this internally. No, you don't have to let them handle this internally. This should never have been handled internally. The first time that any priest was ever accused of sexual misconduct, that information should have been handed over to the secular authorities immediately, within minutes of that information landing on the desk of whoever first heard it. And then he should have been questioned by the police, and the survivor of the abuse should have been questioned by the police, and then there should have been a proper police investigation, and the church should have had nothing to do with it. Except, of course, they would get sued, rightfully so, because they have allowed this kind of abuse to live. Those 6,000-page documents, 6,000 pages of documents I mentioned, cover an 8-decade span of time. 80 years of children being abused at the hands of priests. That's sickening. We don't need to make this stuff up like there was with the satanic panic in the 80s and 90s, where people were jailed about things that never happened. These things did happen in the real world. And yet, it's all this hands-off stuff. No, let the church handle it. No, don't let the church handle it. Let the secular law enforcement handle it. Let these men be charged and arrested and tried and, if found guilty, incarcerated. That's what we need to do. We need complete and utter transparency. Every drop of data the Catholic Church possesses on any priest, on any continent, from any time period, needs to be released to the appropriate authorities now. And then the church needs to start making amends. There aren't enough I'm sorries in the world to make up for this. But they can start at least. And at the moment, they're still covering their asses. Like I said, like the author of this article, I would love to never talk about this again. But today is not that day.